Hello, everybody, and welcome to BeEmotion.ai's webinar today. My name's Emily McFarlane. I'm the Senior Campaign Lead here at Birchal. And just before I introduce the team at BeEmotion.ai, I would like to begin by acknowledging the traditional owners of the land from which we are beaming to you from today. So Birchal is based on the lands of the Wurundjeri people of the Kulin Nation, and we pay our respects to the elders past, present, and emerging. So today I'm joined by the founders of BeEmotion.ai. So we've got Justin and Verpi here who are working on their upcoming crowdsourced funding offer. For those of you who aren't familiar with crowdsourced funding or CSF, you might know it as equity crowdfunding. It's a relatively new form of fundraising here in Australia that came about in about 2018. And it's for startups and small businesses so that they can raise capital from a large number of smaller or retail investors, as well as sophisticated and wholesale investors through an online platform such as Birchal. So instead of seeking funding from traditional forms such as venture capitalists or banks, companies can turn to the general public, and often this is their communities, in exchange for equity in their business. Birchal Financial Services are the licensed intermediary for this offer, and I'd just like to remind everybody who is on the call today that the information and discussion in this webinar is for informational purposes only and should not be considered as advice or a recommendation to invest. So please, I would encourage you to do your own research and always consider the general CSF risk warning and offer document before investing. Now, how today's session is going to run, I'll hand over to our CEO and founder, Matt, in a moment, who will take us through a little bit of a structure on how this offer will run in this stage. And then we'll have a presentation from the founders, followed by a little bit of a Q&A section. So if you do have any questions, please feel free to pop them in the Q&A box that you'll find at the bottom of your Zoom screen. I'll just also let you know that today's session is being recorded. So if you would like to watch any of it back, or if you do need to jump off early, a recording will be sent around of the session. So without further ado, I'm just going to hand over to Matt Vitale.
Thanks so much, Em, and thank you to everyone that is tuning in today. A really warm welcome to the Birchal community that has responded to this. We're changing the way that we're bringing these opportunities to market, and there are a few innovations that we've been testing over the last few weeks, and this is the first of a series of opportunities in response to a lot of investor feedback that particularly wholesale investors would like earlier engagement, more access to companies on the platform. Also, a lot of feedback that investors want exposure to the AI industry and deep tech. Absolutely delighted to be hosting this webinar with BeEmotion, which is a very exciting opportunity that has been at the forefront of the AI space for over 10 years. In a short moment, I'll introduce Justin and Verpi from BeEmotion and ask them some questions about the business, their journey to date, and their plans for the future. But before I do, I just want to acknowledge that BeEmotion is an exciting opportunity. Its technology is already being tested in the market. It powers the Panasonic Nikobo companion robot. It's being used by PainCheck, which is an ASX-listed company, and it is also being used in R&D initiatives by a range of automotive manufacturers in Japan and Germany. And given the excitement and interest and the pace of change in the AI industry at the moment, there is more to come. Now, as mentioned, though, BeEmotion will be offering an innovative incentive for investors that are assisting with what is a cornerstone process. So part of the reason for this early engagement is to encourage investors to engage with the company before they open at EOI stage. Now, our standard process is to run a pre-offer marketing campaign, and that hasn't started yet. So this is the innovation of this webinar and this early engagement. but the EOI is scheduled to open next week. But this is an opportunity to get a first look at what BeEmotion is bringing to market, to understand a little bit more about the opportunity, and for our wholesale audience to engage. The incentive that's being offered, we'll be able to hop into more detail about that, but it is being offered to wholesale investors subject to certain conditions as an incentive for providing the early investment and cornerstoning the process. Now, I'd like to introduce Justin, the Executive Chairman of BeEmotion, and Virpi, the CEO. Maybe Justin or Virpi, if you would like to go first, just to tell us a little bit about yourself and your role at BeEmotion.
I'll let Justin start.
Oh, thank you, Viv.
Justin.
Yes, look, I've my background's in funds management over the hedge fund world over the last 2 decades, and corporate advisory over the last 6 years. So initially the introduction to what was formerly Naviso was around 3 years ago in a fundraising capacity. I joined the board 18 months ago, and then moved into the chairman, an exec capacity around 12 months ago, and the chair position in September last year. I think it's BeEmotion has, I guess, been preparing for the AI wave for the best part of the last decade, certainly ahead of the curve with respect to the way it's built its technology, utilizing our LPDMM large language model, and all the work we've been done in various sectors, namely smart health, automotive, and smart home. And so it's we've just undergone a rebrand to BeEmotion, and I guess the way to view it is, we've had 10 years of R&D, we've got hundreds of millions of data points, which in this day and age would be very, very difficult to replicate. And we're now in our go-to-market phase, productizing. We have revenue, albeit small. We have a couple of license agreements out there, and we're very excited about what we're doing in the automotive space, especially in one of our partnerships that Virpi will touch on, with a multi-modality offering around us doing the video, teaming up with another company that's doing the audio, and we're also looking at a go-to-market strategy with that certainly puts us at the forefront of behavioural emotion, artificial intelligence globally. So yeah, looking forward to working through the Birchal raise and scaling the company from there.
Before I throw to Virpi, I think just stepping back a moment, just for the viewers, so we can understand a little bit about the BeEmotion technology. As I understand it, it's AI focused on, or has been traditionally focused on, facial recognition with a range of applications. And I understand that is being expanded, and that is part of the future focused strategy for the business. But maybe if you could just take us through the history of the technology and some of the applications that are being used so far.
I'll hand over to V for that, but I think it's just important to clarify we're emotion recognition, not facial recognition. So facial recognition it's out there everywhere. It's obviously got a huge amount of coverage with respect to very competitive border force users, etc. But we're another level up above that. We're deep tech. We're AI on the edge. We recognize from our data sets happiness, sadness, stress, anxiety, all different types of mood classifications. So I think that's important to distinguish. But V, maybe over to you for your background, perhaps, and then you can expand on Matt's question.
Sure. So I'm Virpi Pennanen, and I've got a very long history within IT. I've been in IT related industries all my career basically, and I've worked with global huge enterprises, vendors, suppliers, integrators, all sorts, but also have been part of a few very exciting startup builds and successful sales of those. And I'm very passionate about the opportunity always that is almost kind of unknown at the moment. And I've kind of been lucky to be part of a few of those builds before, and I'm really excited to be part of BeEmotion now for the same reason. I've been with BeEmotion just over a year now. I got introduced through an investor to Justin in January last year. And we basically agreed for me to join the team for the commercialization of the company. Like Justin said, there's over a decade of R&D and innovation, and our background is in spin-off of EPFL, which is basically they call it the MIT of Europe. EPFL is the university in Switzerland in Lausanne. And so the tech has been made into pretty shiny diamond from the perspective of its capability, robustness, and performance. And since last year, we've been focusing on how do we actually take this to market, and we've done a lot of work in productization, looking at what do we actually sell, who is our main target markets, and where do we see the best opportunity. Going back to what our technology is all about, we understand human behavior and emotions, and that enables our customers to gain valuable insights and therefore influence their clients to take them to the desired emotional state for like an ongoing consumption of their products. We are hardware agnostic. We're a software company. Our products can be applied to pretty much any industry, any vertical, any kind of use case. But that's been one of the challenges or works that we've been doing for the last 12 months is to define the actual markets that we want to go for. And we've basically defined 4 different areas where our product is the most valuable for. And I think Matt's probably going to ask me to talk about that later. But just to sort of wrap up on what the technology is all about, we detect and observe and reason the human behavior. So we basically definitely don't do only facial recognition. That is one of a half a dozen things that we look for. So we detect face, eyes, hands, body, and objects. And we observe things like head pose, body pose, facial expressions. We can observe age and gender. We can also observe vital signs. So basically heart rate, temperature on your face, breathing. We look at facial gestures and observe them, gaze. We track eyes and hand gestures. And out of that, with our semantic reasoning, we can get to what the mood is of the person or the people involved. We can detect drowsiness, we can detect pain, we can detect enjoyment, comfort, any human emotion really that is vital for then the application, the end user, end application to react to those emotions in a way that they want to.
It's fascinating. I think what's one of the things that's really exciting for me, and I think useful for viewers in terms of bringing this technology to life, is to explain some of the use cases or the examples of this technology in the wild. So perhaps you could take us through either PainCheck or Panasonic Nicobo or both.
Okay, look, I'm happy to talk about as many as you want. There's
Awesome.
plenty to talk about, but I'll explain the Nicobo companion robot, because that's a really cute use case. It's Panasonic and us. We work together on this little like knitted ball looking creature, which is basically a pet for people, and the target market for that in Japan is the aging population. There's a lot of issues with mental health and loneliness in Japan amongst the elderly, and there's a lot of single people, and due to the culture, it's kind of embarrassing, shameful to admit that you're not feeling well. So this little thing basically it doesn't talk, but it giggles and wiggles and farts if it's not happy. And it's got a tail that it can wig. And it's basically something that provides comfort and companionship. And I think that's a very cute, very sort of sweet use case. Also, what we've discovered now that it's been on the market for about 12 months is that kids get really excited when they see it. So I think Panasonic's going to expand that once they've used this 12 months to basically test the market and make sure that the robotics of it actually functions. So they want to be pushing out a really robust product. Our software has been very good on it and works well, and we've just recently released a 4th version of the software to enhance the features of that little furry thing.
I think what's cool about that too is it's non-invasive. So as you'd appreciate, there's a huge market out there with respect to monitoring of the elderly, their movement around the home to ensure they're mobile, reminding them to take medication and the like. And the elderly don't embrace technology very well. So it's a very non-invasive way that can also be utilised for that purpose, as well as a companion.
I think that's a good lead way to add to what our technology is all about. Our software runs on the edge. So we do deep edge AI, which means that the software runs in isolation in a insured, secure, and private environment. So we don't share data across cloud. We don't store anything outside of the edge device. So we protect privacy, and also obviously running on the edge means that it's the products perform perfectly, it's fast, and there's no latency.
And I understand PainCheck, the PainCheck product is powered by BeEmotion's technology. Perhaps if you could, take us through, what that product does and how BeEmotion is another use case.
Yeah, sure. So one of the things, as I explained from our software, is that we can understand vital signs, and we can see, we can express through the camera lens for how people are feeling. So the PainCheck solution was built and is on the market for basically help nursing staff and doctors to understand the pain levels of people who cannot necessarily express themselves, like dementia patients. And it's a mobile device that the nurses carry on with them, particularly at aged care facilities. And when they see these patients who are not quite there and can't tell them or how they feel, they can use the software, the product, to define, are they in really bad pain, or is there any pain around? And that gives them the opportunity to basically define what treatment or medication is correct for those people.
Fascinating. Another amazing use case. The opportunities for tailored experiences. I think in our earlier conversations about, you've spoken about making technology or humanizing technology, which is something that really resonates with me. I understand that you have quite a few clients in the automotive industry at research and development phase that are kind of running with that idea of humanizing technology and tailoring experiences. Maybe if you could explain a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, that's a really exciting area to be working with some of the leading car brands in the world. Unfortunately, we cannot name any of them through confidentiality, but because it's their innovation and they're looking at doing something really, really new and different. But I think the time from looking at just safety aspects of driver monitoring or things like that has moved into, okay, now we need to make sure that people actually enjoy driving our cars, and that the car can basically almost, I think the end game, what we're looking at is that we go into a car with personality. So what we're doing with one of the luxury brands in Germany is building a mood detection and comfort enjoyment kind of platform for them, where they are interested in making sure that all the occupants in the car. So first of all, we're not just looking at the driver. Our software detects and authenticates and understands everyone in the car. So if the kids are fighting at the back seat, the car can react to that and put a video on to their screens at the back seat, or play some funny music or tell jokes or what have you. Or say if the mood in the car is getting a bit sort of bored, it can boost the driver up in his seat to a more sporty driving position, change the side mirrors according to the seat position, push out some fresh air with some scents in it, and put some funky music on. Even the chair has like the bass vibes in the seat, and it's so much fun to be dealing with that, and just the end game, looking at that, then that is actually something that is the closest to a production line solution in the car industry. You have to understand that car manufacturers do not move fast, and none of this technology is yet out there, but there's a lot of them working on their R&D, where we're part of their projects, getting our technology included in their cars. And so we're probably looking at early next year getting this into a first series of those cars.
I think on that, it's important to note too, we're not safety, right? If you go to safety, autonomous driving, you've got to be 99.99% accurate. There's a huge amount of regulation, and that brings with it a huge amount of costs and a lot more time in terms of getting the product into the vehicle. So we have a much shorter sales cycle from that perspective. I might just quickly touch as well, just on for those who I guess want to think about this from a revenue opportunity and how we make money. If you look at PaintCheck, for example, they're a very, very small, they're paint on mobile devices. So they're a very small part of the smart health vertical. They're a $50 million market cap company with ARR approaching $5 million just in that space. So if you extrapolate in the automotive space, we're talking to and doing R&D projects with several luxury global car makers, or luxury and mid-tier. what you'll see going forward is the car is going to be treated more and more like a mobile office. Screens are getting bigger. You can already see that in the next generation of cars, apps, connectivity, etc. So with it, the car companies are clearly seeing that as a revenue opportunity, and there'll be a subscription type model that'll be brought in a lot of those cases. And we are looking at charging a license fee on an annual basis per vehicle. So you can then start to extrapolate how many vehicles each of these car manufacturers, how many they manufacture on an annual basis, and start to get a feel for what the revenue opportunity is. And it's some pretty big numbers.
It's a really exciting time in the AI space. I think what OpenAI and ChatGPT has done over the last couple of years has really brought it into just general consciousness. But there are many businesses like yours that have been operating in this space over a long time. But I think people are seeing how these technologies can work together and level up and improve tailored experiences for people. Maybe for the people that are viewing at home, we've talked previously about multi-modality experience, and that BeEmotion can kind of expand or augment what it does into taking in other data sets, including voice as well. And maybe you can kind of take us through what you're doing in that space.
Look, it's the technology definitely has always been something that we've been front runners with from the R&D perspective, and one of the things that we've decided, and it's something that we see in the market, is that just doing one thing is no longer good enough, and you will actually be able to really enhance the solutions by having a multimodal solution. Like, for instance, the car situation where we're actually working with our joint venture on this, is that, say, if our software from the camera perspective sees in your face that you're feeling anxious, the car could actually speak to you, and then you can speak back to it, or you can use both of those aspects by, if the car asks you a question and you don't want to be talking, you just do the thumbs down or up or whatever. Like, there's the combination of all of this is vital for the next generation of AI solutions. At the same time, you might be wearing a garment or whatever wearable on your arm, which the car can also access the data from, and understand that, okay, your heart rate's really high. Are you stressed, or are you not feeling well? And all of that combined, it's like you cannot even imagine what you can do with all of that observation.
You've also mentioned that, and for the fans of the old Knight Rider TV show, that someone's done some work that it's actually possible to make a kit, the smart car from that TV show.
Oh yeah.
In theory, all of the technology is available. The future really is now. So
absolutely, and it's not just it's not a joke, and it's not a sort of dream. We're actually working on it, and we've got the architecture already in place where you can get the car to understand who drives it, who owns it, and have a sense of humor even, and just become your friend. And like Justin was referring to the car being like the office, you can basically you can do, your imagination is the limit of what we can do with that.
So I might just shift to the team and the operation. So I understand that this product is the culmination of over 10 years of research. Maybe if you could just take us through, other than Justin and Virpi, like who is BeEmotion and where are they based and what are the things that they're working on?
Justin, do you want to do it, or shall I talk to this?
All yours, V.
Oh, okay, great. So one of the things we focused on last year when we started the journey of commercialization, we went through looking at who are the key people for the success of this company, and we've got the leading people engaged. So we have Bogdan Lazar is our head of product, and he looks after the technical side of things, as well as we have engaged the previous, or the founders, the co-founder of BeEmotion as an advisory board leader. So we've got the product is basically sprung out of his PhD idea, and he's very much involved in the vision and the roadmap of our product, which is fantastic. And then we have Luigi Bagnato, who's our lead AI scientist. His background is fully in like understanding and working with data analysts, but that's evolved to AI analyst. And both of these gentlemen, who are the key leaders in our technical engineering side, have been working with the company for multiple years before my time. So they've got a lot of good experience and understanding of the product, plus also have the knowledge of our markets and who we're approaching. On top of that, we have a team of...
sorry to cut you off, they're based in Switzerland at EPFL. So just...
Oh, yes, yeah. So our innovation, technology and development resides still in Lausanne, where I'm at the moment as well. That's due to the links to the university and the innovation that we're hooked up into as well. That's part of our business, is also working closely with the Innovation Centre here in Switzerland, so that we keep up on the what is the like in further in the future where we need to go to, and yeah. So also the engineering team is mainly here in Switzerland, but we also have contractors in Romania that work in our team.
Thank you. So the culmination...
Touch on, sorry, we also, sorry to cut you off, Matt. We also have a sales team in Japan, which I think is important to note as well. That's been largely responsible for driving the Panasonic relationship and some of the Japanese automakers that we deal with also.
Also, they look after the countries around Japan, like Taiwan and Korea, which are very much of interest to us in the AI adoption.
Which is kind of where I was going next, because leveraging so much research and data, companies at this very exciting commercialization stage now. Maybe if you could take us through some of the near-term objectives. We're here because there is an upcoming funding opportunity, but post the raise, what are the things that the business will be focusing on in the near and medium term?
Look, we need to definitely strengthen our business development. We do have pretty good reach to the right customers, but we do need to have feet on the ground and people really focusing on sales in Europe, and Japan and the Asian part is very much well covered by our 2 sales people in Japan. But Europe, we will be focusing on building a sales team in. We also, as we mentioned, we're working with this joint venture with our friends who have their head office in UK, and we need to put some mutual sort of strategy and structure in place. How do we go to market together? And so from the commercialization perspective, we need business development, whether that is hiring salespeople or setting up a structure that's still in conversation. But that's the key point for us to start building pipeline and getting more opportunities. And with that, obviously, the next step is to increase the engineering team as well.
Excellent. I might throw to Em to see if there are any questions, any other questions.
Yeah, we do have a few. So we've just had one come through from an attendee regarding the business. And is the business structure based in Australia or Switzerland?
We're an Australian, so our corporate structure, we're an Australian public unlisted company. We have about 160 shareholders, and we have 2 subsidiaries, one in Switzerland and one in Japan.
Awesome. So coming into the future, do you expect to have any issues around IP or defensibility of your product?
We have a patent in place for at the moment, and another patent pending with respect to recognition of emotion on various devices. So we have some protection there, but acknowledging patents, they tend to be with a few tweaks, others can do similar things, and certainly we're cognizant of of who our competitors are. We think we still do things given the data sets and the models we have. We've maintained a competitive edge over those competitors, and I think that's why what we're doing in moving into multimodality and combining video and audio is extremely important. From a demand perspective, certainly on the automotive side, nearly all our customers want a combined offering, and we've come up against some fairly large behemoths and done V and the team have done an exceptional job in getting to the forefront of those various R&D projects, which we expect to transfer into licensing. We obviously need to maintain that edge, and beyond business development, the scaling of the business and our tech and engineering capacity is important. I think if you look at huge amount of headlines at the moment around AI, very difficult for the average investor to get exposure to. Almost everything is either chipsets, NVIDIA, or generative AI focused on productivity, which is predominantly open AI. And so we think the next sort of leg of that is various offshoots. We're looking at moving our technology forward with small language. Everything at the moment is large language models. The downside of that is huge amounts of computing power, take up huge amounts of space, massive data centers, huge consumption with respect to electricity, expensive. We can run our models on an SLM, on a small language model. Given that we're deep tech AI on the edge, it translates extremely well, and we feel that the sort of the next generation of AI, we're going to feature very strongly with respect to that.
Yeah, fantastic. So the technology, is it compatible with other interfaces such as Hugging Face, PyTorch, or LLMs that are part of this marketplace? And are there opportunities to license the technology into this ecosystem?
Yes, look, at the moment we use our models are built and refined on what's called LPDNN, which is a large language model. That's had tens of millions of euros of that sits outside of BeEmotion. We license that through BCA, which is Bonsai. It's a non-for-profit. But that's been built via significant grants and significant university expertise across Europe. It's a very good question. We are looking at the ability to move our technology and utilize sort of more recent generic LLMs as well. And that would require it's compatible, but you've just got to change the interface piece in the middle and make some tweaks to that so that we can run our models on a different LLM. So yes, we're investigating it. We haven't got that far as yet, but it's certainly in the pipeline.
Great. So something that is at the forefront of a lot of investors' minds and a lot of people using AI technology is data security. I know that you touched on this a little bit earlier, but utilizing your technology for a number of different clients across the board, can you be assuring customers that this will remain secure?
Yes, we can, because our technology runs on the edge device. So what it means is that, for instance, in the car environment, there will be a black box hardware in the car that powers the software and the application. And as I said earlier, we don't store data outside. We don't collect anything or move anything to the cloud whilst the software is running. We preserve privacy by keeping it in the car, and the actual software is trained with our massive data sets to basically work accurately, but then it'll get compiled and put in the car. So there's no data or identity or anything being transferred outside of the car.
That's great.
That's important. Sorry, it's worth touching too. At the moment, obviously, we have customers in smart home, smart health, and automotive, but the use of our product, goes way beyond those applications. And if we want to touch on blue sky, we've got significant interest from the defence sector, which again we can't really talk about, but we're featuring we're at the pointy end of a government tender with respect to moving our technology into that sector in Australia. And the real differentiation point there has been on the edge. So not having that connectivity, not being connected to the cloud, is significant from a security perspective. The flip side of that, I guess that right at the other end of the spectrum, is gaming, which we've got some initial conversations on as well. The beautiful thing about gaming is that the end user, you've always got some concerns around opt-in. When people are having voice recognition and facial motion recognition, not everyone is comfortable with that. From a gaming perspective, they're already looking at each other on the screen. They're already mic'd up. They're more than comfortable. So for a gaming company to be able to get the feedback and the emotion of the player is absolutely invaluable data for them with respect to the points in the game where what's working, what's not working, where people are drifting off, and that can give some fantastic feedback to the gaming companies. And then that translates into consumer behaviour. So if you think about the online company doesn't come to mind, but the online surveys they do, which is largely typed in, or they track your keyboard for what you're looking at, right? If you start to get consumers opting into that via the offering up of incentives, you start to get some really accurate. I mean, I think, we all have things popping up on social media and emails, and you think, Jesus, where'd that come from? You just mentioned the word golf club, and all of a sudden, they're trying to sell it to you. So we can really hone down on a lot more. Our accuracy levels are much higher with respect to consumer behaviour than a lot of the methodology that's been used at the moment. So that's again something that's in the up and coming blue sky basket with respect to where our technology will go next.
Yeah, incredible. So looking forward to this raise, do you have an idea what the market cap will be?
Yes, our fully diluted enterprise value pre-money for this raise is around 45 million AUD, and I would add that is still a lesser number than the R&D funds that have gone into this business over the last 10 years. So we on the basis of the team executing and myself and V are pushing hard to ensure that happens. We think there's some fairly exciting times ahead.
Incredible. And can you share any more information around the vision for the company?
V, you can take over there.
Okay. Well, the vision is that we know that we're on something that is absolutely unique and amazing, and with the next generation of the multimodal solution that we're building, there is no one else doing that at the extent as we are doing, and to take that to the market, the opportunity is absolutely massive. So the risk is time, and if we don't do this quick, then someone else will catch up. But now the vision is that we will be a part of all these different sectors, all these different markets and applications as a vital part of the solution, that we become the generic thing that needs to be powering all sorts of applications around the world.
Yeah, we're going to analyse individuals' behaviour, potentially look to change that behaviour, and get an end result that is effectively provides a better outcome for the individual and the company. So.
Awesome. Matt, I've got a question for you in terms of the incentive model that you've shared. Are you able to give any more detail on the process from here?
I'll let Justin in a moment kind of speak to the details of the incentive, but it is important to mention that this is a crowdsourced funding offer. So all investments will be made via the Birchal platform, and it will be a crowdsourced funding offer under the crowdsourced funding regime. But for some investors, only wholesale investors, so investors that are able to invest more than $10,000 in a crowdsourced funding offer because they meet the wholesale client definition, typically determined through an accountant certificate through the investment process and subject to some additional conditions, that there will be an incentive for investors that help this cornerstone process, this early engagement, and provide lead investment. And I might just hand over to Justin on what that incentive is.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. I mean, look, it's a fairly simple structure. I mean, we're looking to offer a 1-for-1 warrant at the deal price for those investors that commit early capital. I guess that rationale behind that is when we go live to the broader community, we'll look to have a nice cornerstone to the raise, which we would expect some of our existing shareholders to participate in as well. Yeah, that would be in the form of a 1-for-1 option at the same price with a 3-year time period by which to take that up. So yeah, it's a little bonus for that early commitment, which won't be offered to the wider crowdfunding raise. There is a minimum investment number, dollar amount that needs to be committed in order to get that extra bonus, that warrant.
And those details will be provided to interested investors over the next little while prior to the offer opening. But that minimum amount will be at least $10,000. It may be more, subject to Justin and his team finalising the terms of that structure, but more information will be provided. Yeah.
Great. I've also just popped in the chat box if anybody would like to express interest in the campaign early before it does go to the public, the link to that page, so you can express interest now to keep up to date with any communications around the investment opportunity as well. I'll just check with the team. Have you got anything else we'd like to cover off today before we finish up the session?
No, I think we've spoken a lot, have we? There's a million different use cases that we could talk to, but I guess the key point is that the solution works on the edge. It can be applied to pretty much any industry, any use case, but we want to have the focus to these 4 areas that we mentioned to make sure that we basically establishing our commercial status very well.
I've just also put in the chat, Emily, you might need to
I got it.
repeat that because it didn't go to everyone. There we go. But you may want to, investors may just want to have a look at, that's our JV partner. They've got some lesser restrictions on naming customers than what we have. So you'll get a feel for the audio side of the business through our JV, what multimodality potentially looks like, some of the use cases, and some of the customers which are named. As I said, you'll get some clues as to who our customer base is by taking a look at their website as well as ours.
Thanks so much for that, Justin. Appreciate it. I want to thank everybody for their time today who has come to watch, and also thank you to the team at BeEmotion for all of your time and explaining what is a truly incredible company, and we're really excited to have you on the Birchal platform.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.